the inevitable departure, a divine warning to Leo. I need you to face a truth that is shaking the foundations of your current reality. There is a message, a sovereign decree, vibrating just beneath the surface of your everyday life, and it is meant for you, Leo. It's not a suggestion, it's an urgent, non-negotiable directive from the divine. Look closely at the ground beneath your feet. You believe you are standing still, but the earth is already shifting. A profound, final chapter is closing, and the universe is about to empty your hands so you can grasp something infinitely greater. The warning has arrived because your hesitation is becoming a form of resistance, and resistance, against a change this immense, always results in a harsher transition. Listen now, because the door to a softer exit is closing, and the cost of staying will be far greater than the fear of leaving. Leo, pay close attention to these words. This is more than advice. It is a direct, divine warning being sent specifically to your spirit. God is speaking, and the message is both clear and urgent. You are about to depart from this place. This place is not just a geographical location, but an entire era of your existence that is reaching its conclusion. I'm speaking of the situations that have restricted you for years, the relationships that have fulfilled their purpose, and the old versions of yourself that you have outgrown. This divine warning has been delivered because you are delaying a decision your heart has already fully embraced. You feel that deep unrest, don't you? That persistent certainty that your current environment no longer aligns with your destiny? That quiet inner conviction whispering, this is not it. Not here. Not with these people. Not doing this. You've tried to suppress this voice, rationalizing the need for patience, the perfect timing, or absolute certainty before acting. But the divine is no longer waiting for your approval. The decision has already been sealed on a higher plane. Your only remaining choice is acceptance or resistance to what is already in motion. I will reveal the exact nature of the place you must leave, why this exodus is unavoidable, and the critical consequences of resisting this sacred calling. I will illuminate the ignored signs and escalating warnings that have been desperately vying for your attention. Most importantly, I will prepare you for the next phase. Because leaving this place is not an ending, it is the genesis of everything that matters. To begin, you require only the courage to take the blind first step. Do you sense that your present life has become too small for the magnificent being you are evolving into? Leo, you were born to radiate. It is not an option, it is your fundamental nature. Yet, you've settled in spaces that demanded you diminish your brilliance. Environments where your powerful presence felt threatening. Relationships where you had to shrink yourself so others could feel significant. Situations where your unique gifts are wasted and your natural leadership is misread as arrogance. In a mistaken pursuit of acceptance and love, you agreed to dim your own light. You chose to hide and live a reduced version of your true self. But God did not craft you to reside in shadows. He didn't give you this magnetic fire and this innate ability to inspire so that you would spend your life trying to squeeze into confining spaces. The warning you are receiving now is a command. It is time to leave those places. Not someday, not when courage arrives, not when conditions are ideal. Now. Every day you linger in an environment that fails to honor your authentic self is a day stolen from your ultimate purpose. For Leos born between July 23rd and August 2nd, the place you are called to leave is a professional environment you should have exited long ago. It's that role where you are unseen, your ideas are constantly dismissed, and the recognition received is minimal compared to the energy invested. The divine command is, break free. For those born between August 3rd and 13th, the place to be abandoned is a relationship or toxic family dynamic that depletes your core energy. You have fought tirelessly to salvage it, but your spirit knows there is nothing left to save. The divine warning is clear, liberate yourself. And for Leos born between August 14th and 22nd, the required departure is not external. It is an old version of your own identity, the limiting beliefs, the fear-driven behavioral patterns that offer safety but ensure deep dissatisfaction, and the reluctance to embrace the leadership role that is your birthright. God's call to you is, transform. What all Leos must grasp is this departure is not optional. You will leave these restrictive places regardless of your preparedness or willingness. The critical difference is this: if you embrace the call and lead by conscious choice, the transition will be significantly smoother, and you will retain control over the process. If you resist until the very end, the universe will orchestrate circumstances that force your exit. And those circumstances are rarely gentle. Would you prefer to walk out the main door with dignity, or be violently ejected through a shattered window? Let me shift your perspective, Leo. The evidence of this divine warning is already saturating your life. You have been receiving unmistakable signs that it's time to move, but you have consistently misread them as mere obstacles or unfortunate problems instead of what they truly are: divine guidance forcefully urging you out of an outgrown container. That mounting conflict at your job? It is not bad luck. It is the Creator installing discomfort to compel you towards something superior. That constant, repetitive argument in a relationship? It's not a failure of communication. It is the universe revealing a terminal misalignment. That pervasive sense of emptiness and boredom when everything should be fine? It is not ingratitude. It is your soul screaming that you are wasting your vibrancy on what no longer fuels your expansion. These warnings have been intensifying because you keep ignoring them. They began as soft internal whispers and mild dissatisfactions. You ignored them. Then came more direct signals, vivid prophetic dreams, new people appearing with stories of change, and opportunities that you were too paralyzed to seize. You continued to ignore them. Now, the warnings are becoming undeniable. Crises that shatter your certainty, profound losses that create unavoidable space, and extreme pressure that drives you to an inevitable decision point. Divine patience is a great force, but it is not boundless. There is an expiration date on this warning. When that deadline passes, the change will occur, but strictly on the universe's terms, not yours. You will look back and understand you had 1,000 chances to initiate this change while you were still in command, but you let fear, doubt, or attachment to the known paralyze you. When this realization hits, it's typically too late for a graceful exit. The upheaval has already caught you off guard, and you find yourself scrambling to keep up instead of confidently leading your own transformation. The ultimate truth is this: you were not created to live imprisoned. You were born to be radiant, expansive, and fundamentally free. But freedom demands the bravery to release the familiar, even if that familiar is miserable. There is a strange human tendency to choose predictable suffering over the unknown potential of happiness. We often cling to situations that slowly suffocate us because at least we know the routine, rather than risk possibilities that could make us truly alive but feel unpredictable. You are making that choice, Leo, and the divine is intervening because he sees you squandering the extraordinary potential planted within you. A new existence awaits you. A phase of life where you can finally be completely and unapologetically yourself. Environments that don't just endure your greatness but celebrate and magnify it. People who are not intimidated by your light but shine alongside you. Opportunities that perfectly match your highest talents. A life that genuinely electrifies you and forces you to wake up with passion every single day. But you cannot occupy the new space while you are still grasping the old. You must release the past to create the void for the future. Are you willing to trust that what lies beyond this transition is immeasurably superior to what you are holding on to? Leo, you are not asked to make this transition alone. The warnings are also an ongoing preparation. Every recent difficulty you've overcome has been a training exercise for the next echelon of your life. Every toxic person taught you a crucial lesson in boundaries and self-worth. Every disappointment shattered an illusion that kept you stuck in a life beneath your worth. You have been meticulously prepared for a purpose far grander than you can currently imagine. The reluctance you feel isn't wisdom, it is fear masked as prudence. It is your ego struggling to maintain control over a situation your soul has already decreed must end. Your lion spirit is roaring for release, yet your rational mind is fabricating 1,000 reasons to stay, to wait, to delay. Let me pose a singular question that cuts through these rationalizations. If you knew with absolute certainty that something better awaited you on the other side of this change, would you hesitate for even one more second? The truth is, you already possess that certainty. Your heart has declared this chapter finished 1,000 times, that you have outgrown this place, that it is time to depart. But you have prioritized your intellectual what-ifs. What if I fail? What if it gets worse? What if I regret it? Here is the truth God wants you to understand: the greatest risk is not leaving this place. The greatest risk is remaining and sacrificing the precious, irreplaceable years of your life to something that no longer serves your expansion. Over the next few weeks, the signs will escalate further. Moments of perfect clarity will strike, confirming the absolute necessity of your departure. Conversations will occur that validate your heart's knowledge. Circumstances will unequivocally prove that you have already surpassed this environment. Pay meticulous attention to these moments. They are not fleeting emotions, they are divine messages guiding you toward your liberation. When you finally make the decision to leave, and you will, because the divine decree cannot be evaded, you will be bewildered by how long you waited. You will look back and see with undeniable clarity all the dismissed signs and the squandered opportunities for a smoother transition. But this retrospective gaze will not be filled with regret. It will be saturated with gratitude, recognizing that every moment of hesitation was a necessary preparation for the final, audacious leap. The destination you are moving toward is exponentially larger than the place you are leaving, not just physically, but energetically. You are being summoned to function on a completely different vibrational frequency. A level of existence where you no longer need to justify, minimize, or explain yourself. Where your natural presence is the only credential required. Where your leadership is not merely tolerated, but sought after. Where your innate gifts are not just valued, but generously rewarded. This new destination demands a new embodiment of you. Not a manufactured version, but the fullest, most authentic expression of who you already are at your core. You must stop editing your personality to fit into molds created by others. You must cease moderating your passion to appease those intimidated by brilliance. You must stop seeking permission to be magnificent when magnificence is your inherent state. God fashioned you to reign, not to cater to people who undervalue your offering. He created you to lead, not to follow paths laid by others that contradict your soul's blueprint. He created you to inspire and uplift, not to lower yourself to the level of petty ambitions and small talk. The warning you are receiving confirms that your time of living beneath your potential is over. You were chosen for something extraordinary, and this calling is irreversible. For many Leos, the required departure is internal before it is external. It is the scarcity mindset that convinces you to cling to the little you have because nothing better might appear. It is the self-limiting belief that you don't deserve more, that you should be grateful for a fraction of what you were made for. It is the pattern of self-sabotage that unconsciously recreates scenarios confirming your deepest insecurities instead of allowing your true greatness to manifest. God is instructing you: abandon that mental landscape. Release those restrictive beliefs. Let go of that small version of your story. For as long as you carry those internal constraints, you will simply rebuild the same frustrating pattern, even if you change your job or relationship. The true exit begins internally, the moment you make the firm decision: I will no longer accept a life beneath my potential. I will no longer tolerate situations that dishonor my essence. I will no longer dim my light for the comfort of others. The divine warning comes with a powerful guarantee: when you finally leave this place, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you will experience a level of freedom you cannot currently imagine. You will breathe deeper. You will laugh easier. You will wake without that familiar, heavy weight on your chest that you've carried for so long it became invisible. You will look in the mirror and finally recognize the person looking back, not the edited, adapted, diminished version, but you, in your purest, most potent essence. And the right people will finally begin to enter your life. Not those who require you to be small, but those who celebrate your magnitude because they operate on the same level. You will attract opportunities that once seemed unattainable because your energy will finally align with what you truly deserve. You will create experiences you only dreamed of because you will be free of the dead weight of draining people and situations. But all of this hinges on one choice: the decision your heart made long ago to leave. To leave this place, release the old, and fully trust that something new and far better is waiting. You must do this not in the absence of fear, but by taking the fear along with you. Courage is not the lack of fear, it is the action taken while fear is present. You possess that courage, Leo. It has always been within you. It is time to access it. In the coming days, the pressure to act on this warning will become almost unbearable. You will feel an urgency that transcends normal anxiety. It is your spirit recognizing that the window for a graceful, on your terms change is rapidly narrowing. Time is still available, but it is limited. Every day you resist the divine call is a day closer to change happening through a force you cannot control. Pay attention. The signs are everywhere now, impossible to ignore. Conversations will touch the very subject you've avoided. You will encounter people who made similar leaps and are living lives that spark a healthy envy. Opportunities will arise that fundamentally require you to exit your current situation. Conflicts will reach a crescendo in the places where you have wasted too much time. Your own body will send signals, the chronic tension, the exhaustion that sleep cannot resolve, the oppressive feeling of living a life that is not your own. These are not problems to be solved. They are messages to be obeyed. God is speaking to you through every single sign, repeating the same warning in various forms until you finally listen. It is time to leave. You are about to depart this place. You can choose grace and conscious action, or you can choose to wait until you are forcibly removed. But the departure is decreed and will happen. What resonates most powerfully about this message is the potent mix of urgency and love. God is not punishing you. He is liberating you from a prison you constructed out of fear, limitation, and a lack of faith in your own potential. He is pushing you from the nest, not out of cruelty, but because he knows you have wings and it is time to use them. He is removing the familiar and limiting so that you can finally access the extraordinary and expansive. You, Leo, were destined for great things. Not in the shallow sense of outward fame, but in the profound sense of real, meaningful impact, full contribution, and the complete expression of the unique gifts only you possess. You cannot fulfill this destiny while you remain trapped in small places, with small people, thinking small thoughts about yourself. God requires you to step out so that you can finally assume the role that has always been reserved for you. The ensuing transformation will not be easy, genuine growth never is. There will be moments of doubt, fear, and the intense urge to revert to the familiar, even if that familiar is painful. But you will not be able to return, because once you see the truth, you cannot convincingly pretend you haven't. And the truth you are about to see with total clarity is this. You have been living far below your potential, and a completely different life is available to you on the other side of this change. The final warning is this: do not wait until you have no other choice. Do not wait until the situation has so gravely deteriorated that leaving is the last possible option. Do not wait until you have sacrificed so much of yourself that years will be required to recover. Choose to leave now while you still possess the clarity and the strength to do it in a way that honors your inner royalty. Because the departure is inevitable. God has decreed it. But how it happens still rests on your conscious choice. Your soul recognizes the truth in these words because it already knew all of this. It was only awaiting external confirmation to finally mobilize. Consider this video that confirmation. The warning has been delivered. The summons has been issued. Now, it is time for your response.